But
So,
so for clients, for coaches and clients, where the coach can see the gremlin and the client not so much, suggestions about
yeah,
that?
yeah. Here's how it appears to me you're getting in your own way. And then you tell them, here's how it appears to me. You can even say, let's think of a way to accentuate that. Or you can just accentuate it. Don't worry if it looks like a gremlin or doesn't. One thing, I was hesitant to get into this, but really you just have one gremlin. Because hear me out. Your gremlin is not your negative thoughts. Your gremlin is not your traumatic past experiences. Your gremlin is not even the horror movies in your head. Your gremlin is that thing, that part of you actually, that really uses those things to eat your lunch, to squelch the vibrant soul within. I get asked a lot, where does it come from? So I'm going to answer it. I don't know, and neither does anybody else. But I have never met anybody that doesn't have that duality. And it's a huge gift from my experience to be able to tame that thing on the spot. You just have a lot more pleasurable moments. So there's one gremlin, and your gremlin is not cute. Your gremlin is not negative thoughts. It uses them, creates a horror movie, and then invites you in to watch the horror movie, and then sits there with you while you watch it. This is basically what Sonny was working with. It'll say, well, just keep noodling on this, keep watching this, and eventually you'll find peace. It's a lie. There's a difference between constructive thinking and ruminating. And constructive thinking, man, 10 minutes of constructive thought is a lot. It's a lot. If you go longer than that, you're probably ruminating, going over the same stuff time and time again.
Jen asked a question. She said, can you talk more about how to remove yourself from all of the inner dialogue? Aside from noticing and breathing, are there other techniques?
Well, simply noticing is the primary thing. Okay. And one of the options that I've given you so far is to shine a bright light, to accentuate how you're getting in your own way. And let's just, there are others, but let's stick with that, because at the point you're doing that, you're in the process of sanding down and in some cases eliminating those things. So let's talk about those things for just a moment. I think of them as poisons. Because literally, you start feeling these things in your body, you're going to notice what they feel like. It's not pleasant. One would be, as I said, worry, ruminating. You know, that's predicated on fear. And really what happens with the monster of the mind, your gremlin creates a horror movie and then seduces you into watching it. And you start living through that. So that's one thing you can accentuate. So that's one poison. You start noticing what it feels like to scare the hell out of yourself. It's a very distinct feeling. It's different than another poison I'm going to tell you about, which is, we can pick one. Regret is fine, really. I mean, if what happened is, you know, I stepped on your toe, Allison, or I stubbed my own toe, I'm going to regret that. It's a natural feeling. But if I start assaulting my own character about that, or listening to my gremlin, and it becomes, klutz, what the hell's the matter with you? When are you going to shape up? You're always bumping into people. You hurt people all the time. What kind of a schmuck are you? You know, whatever. If it becomes an assault on my character, it becomes a feeling called guilt, which occurs right here. I don't know if you can see me, but right around your heart of hearts, in that area and in your upper abdomen. Not a good feeling. It's a poison, but it's a different poison than fear and worry. You really start tuning into your body, you'll notice the difference. Another poison is simply, well, beating the hell out of yourself. Kind of goes with the guilt thing sometimes, you know, just basically telling yourself, or your gremlin telling you, however you want to frame it, that you're just not quite up to snuff. You know, and people who do that a lot to themselves end up having, from my experience, kind of a not exactly, well, some people I guess get kyphosis, but there's a, it's like something's over you, beating you up. So that feeling occurs a little bit higher here and affects your breathing very definitely. Very definitely. Another is to take a beautiful feeling like anger, which I, you know, it reddens faces, it changes relationships for the better a lot of times. But clinging to a resentment, clinging to that anger is like acid in a container. It'll eat you up. So that's another poison to be aware of. So, I mean, we could go on. The granddaddy of them all is trapping yourself in a concept, a belief, an opinion about who you are. That's really, because I'd rather you have a positive self-concept than a negative one. But any concept is self-limiting because you're not a concept, you know. So the process is, if you just practice with the accentuating the obvious and simply noticing, it'll help a lot. You also, when you start getting pretty good at that one, you can just practice change for a change. You can real quickly go to the option of, excuse me, just basically saying, I'm not going there. But I really, from training so hundreds of coaches and therapists over the years, people jump to that way too fast with their clients. You know, I mean, we enter this profession because we're helpers. So if somebody expresses pain, we want to immediately pull them through it, as opposed to accentuating how they're getting themselves in it. So that's another option. So there's also, I mean, positive visualization is a very powerful tool. Certainly the work of Bernie Siegel and, you know, Norman Cousins, the Simontons. There's hard data to support where wellness and athletic performance are concerned. It really makes a difference. But it's limited in my estimation, and it may be limited for me because I think it's limited. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I think positive visualization has to be coupled with your best butt-kicking effort. But that's another thing. I mean, I've got so many examples from my, like when Muhammad Ali, I was a fan of his when he was Cassius Clay. And I can remember that first time in the ring when, after he fought Sonny Liston, and he's screaming, I am the greatest. I had never heard anything like that with such conviction. It was like, whoa. And sure enough, you know, or Babe Ruth, I guess it was 1932, you know, everybody's heard the story. He signals to the flagpole in center field and knocks a home run. A little kid comes up to him afterwards and says, Mr. Ruth, how did you know you were going to hit it out there and basically take the risk on pointing at the flagpole? What if you had missed? And he said, I never gave it a thought. So anyway, I think those are good examples of positive stuff's a good idea. So those are some ideas, Jen, to play with. But I like the, you know, simply noticing and accentuating the obvious the best, because the change that comes from that seems to last longer. Yeah. It's not just a new decision. It's like your whole body learns, oh, I'm sitting here beating the hell out of myself or scaring myself.
Yeah. Which is the main concept I heard you share with that, is just not to rush through the accentuating part, that's sort of a natural, we want to rush to the, oh, I want to help them, but just let them, just like you did with Sunny, let them really go through it, feel it in their body, talk about it, don't rush it before you get to the...
You got it. Thank you. That's right. That I really am pushing that with you all. I told you I wanted you to have something really practical you could use. So
thank you. It sure is. Yeah.
That's the key.
So
it's not the only thing, you know. I mean, there's a lot more to the method and a lot more that you can do, but that's a powerful thing. That produces change from the inside out.